2, 3 into the 4. Average Joe and Joe Boo on your radio. Ready, make a podcast, so turn it up, cause you know we about to mix it up. With music, sports, games, and more on the podcast, things you think you don't care about. Ain't nothing but a Joe thing, baby. Two guys with mics getting crazy. We picking up material daily, so don't miss an episode.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast, Things You Think You Don't Care About by Average Joe's Media. I am the Average Joe Boo.
And I am the Average Joe.
And it's been a minute, but COVID hit pretty close to home.
Yeah.
And
a little bit.
And you just got to deal with the blows.
You do. You know what I mean?
Yep, absolutely. But we're not letting that stop anything.
No.
It halted a little stuff, but
we're persevering.
We're persevering. We're coming back. We're not letting anything deter this train that is Average Joe's Media.
No. We're lucky. We're blessed. We're thankful for all of our loved ones and well-wishers.
Absolutely.
Folks, stand some prayers for the old Average Joes. But I just want to start off, man. Knock, knock. Who's there? See, I wanted to get it out of the way now. We haven't recorded in a minute, so I needed to get my fumbling of words and phrases out of the way real quickly, so I completely botched that one, but that doesn't stop me.
So what I'm going to say is orange. Oh, man. Anyways, so as you know, listen, we have to get all those things done early, so we know if you're a true fan or not.
Exactly.
If you stick around after we botch something as simple as a knock-knock joke,
I mean,
then you are a true fan.
Here's the thing, average listenership.
Yep.
Yeah, per these live threads, we're just trying to jam-pack as much as we can into the first 5 minutes before you click off of this.
That's correct.
So you're welcome, America.
Yeah, thank you.
So happy belated 4th of July.
Yeah. Happy America's Independence Day. Apparently.
Yes, sir.
Apparently,
It's
a
birthday party.
Yeah, apparently
for America.
Yeah, I'm not getting into that today.
No, I don't either. I just wanted to.
I mean, if it's not a national holiday, and a national anthem, and a national anything, it doesn't exist.
I gotta tell you what, man. Things you think you don't care about.
Golly,
you know what I mean? Yeah. We'll say that for another episode.
That one will be the next time we get together.
Yes, it will.
We got to put some stuff together. There's a ton of cancel culture stuff out there, and we've
had a few requests actually.
That's right. That will be the next episode. Today is Change My Mind.
Yes,
Change
sir.
My Mind. So we both have some points of view, and listen, we may agree with each other.
We may disagree.
But
Average Joe's
change
like
my
salt
mind.
and pepper.
So
we compliment each other.
Thank you, Debbie. Thank you, Chris. We are glad to be back. So,
yes, as they do in the Taylor Swift videos.
There you go.
We love y'all.
Yeah. So, anyways, change my mind. So, Joe, if you disagree with me, change my mind.
Gotcha.
Okay. If you agree with me, then if you're listening, if you're watching, in the comments, change my mind, and we'll see if we can figure that out. We'll maybe have a direct communication with the text line.
Here's the deal. You have my commitment.
Oh, good.
That when you try to change my mind,
I'm
going to have an open mind.
Yeah.
I'm not going to be closed-minded.
That's right.
I'm not going to be small-minded.
That's right.
This big noggin of mine is going to be open.
That's right.
Open for business.
We'll try to do it Socratic style, but I
love Kidcratic, so I'm really happy about it.
No, okay. Wow. Too soon. Too soon. I'm sorry, Caroline.
I apologize. Let me take a sip of freedom real quick.
Oh my goodness. Oh golly. All right. So, change my mind first.
All right.
First, we're going to start off with a would you rather. We got 3 would you rathers. Okay. First, would you rather have a bobblehead or a horizontal butt crack?
Horizontal butt crack.
Really?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because I don't I don't think it matters.
Okay, so the direction of the crack does not
Mm-hmm.
determine the direction of the excrete.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So, okay, so
here's the deal.
what's your argument against having a bobblehead?
Oh, I think I'd get dizzy, have motion sickness.
Okay.
And I'm like,
Okay.
I mean, already right now I'm feeling
That's
like
not going to translate to the audio version of the podcast.
Yeah, sorry, I was bobbing my head.
Yeah, he was trying to bobble his head.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. No. Okay. Yeah. So a horizontal butt crack. I can get on board with that one. All right. So
I mean, imagine they might be squeakier like
Joe,
with a balloon. You know what I mean?
It
like,
could be.
You know what I mean?
It could be have a little whistle.
Yeah, like,
yeah. Right.
you know what I mean? It's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot squeakier.
Right. As
Like when you're letting air out of a balloon.
Right when you're forcing it out, you got a little whistle to it.
It's gonna be a little less of a whoosh.
That's funny. Okay, so I'm going to answer this one after I read it, okay?
Okay.
I just want you to hear the things. And I want you to change my mind,
Got you.
okay? Would you rather have the ability to talk clearly while dentists are working on your teeth or permission to talk dirty? Permission to talk dirty.
100%.
I mean, it's one of the most uncomfortable places you can ever be is the chair of a dentist's office while he or she is inside of your mouth. Obviously,
I know which way I'm leaning on that one.
Obviously, the hotter the dentist, the easier that option is. But even still, I mean, come on.
I don't need to talk clearly.
Permission to talk dirty.
Exactly.
I mean, because listen, they may not understand what we say if we can't talk clearly. So talking dirty is going to be hilarious to me, but maybe not so understood, which makes it hilarious to the dentist.
I mean, here's the thing. Your mouth's dirty because that's why you're there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Who wants to talk clean when something's in your mouth?
That's true. That's fair. Speed makes a good point about the horizontal butt crack. There may need to be a toilet design change.
That's fair.
So instead of it being, football on a tee style, it might need to be like rugby ball on a tee.
Agreed 100%. I got to tell
Maybe
you.
drop kick style.
I got to tell you real quick. It is so good to see everybody on the show.
It is.
It is. Shout out to Speed. We said Speed and Chris and
Speed,
Debbie.
Chris, Debbie. Yeah.
John, Trey.
Hey.
You know what I mean?
Hey.
Shout out to Lauren.
Hey, Trey.
How's it going?
Trey, hope you never got sick.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Too soon.
Okay, so next one. Would you rather have a partner with a 4-inch long nose with 6-inch diameter or an 8-inch long nose with half-inch diameter?
Okay, get that to me one more time.
Okay. So, let's just take it in perspective of your nose. Okay, would you rather have...
Sorry, Chris, Texas.
Yeah, I saw that. Would you rather have a partner with a 4-inch long nose and 6 inches in diameter? So kind of like the kid on Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs.
Yeah.
Okay? Or would you rather have
birth.
Would you rather have an 8-inch long nose with a half an inch diameter? So Pinocchio. That's a tough decision. I mean, you got to have it. You got to decide because that's the game. Would you rather?
I tell you what, I think I'm going to go with short and wide.
Okay.
I mean, I figure they're going to be.
It's okay. You went chode. It's okay.
They're not going to probably snore as much.
Wow,
They're
really?
probably not going to talk nasally.
Yeah, okay.
You know what I mean?
It's going to be way easier to whistle out of the 8-inch, half-inch diameter.
They're probably less likely to stay super congested.
Okay. Really?
An 8-inch,
There's a lot of space up in there. A lot of space up in that.
I know, extra space to breathe.
6-inch diameter nose. I mean, that sucker's like right there. I just drilled 6-inch holes for cornhole boards. Speaking of, ladies and gentlemen, if you are in the market for custom heavy-duty cornhole boards, I, the average Joe Boo, I am making them. So, I mean, reach out.
Average Joe's Media Productions. Speaking of which,
soon they will be on. You left the brand.
Oh, we got an iron brand made.
Yeah, they will have an AJM brand on it in the design at the bottom.
Burned
left corner.
in.
That's right. And I'm making them. You'll see pictures of them soon. I'm getting to the point where I can finally start lifting. I made them when I shouldn't have been lifting. So I had to take a little hiatus because
That's fair.
I felt like I may have messed something up, but I'm okay now.
Side note.
Yeah.
Shout out to brands. I recently got on Yellowstone. I'm trying to talk you into it. So everybody out there, you got to convince Joe Boo he's got to start Yellowstone. But
shout out to brands.
In Yellowstone, though, no, the ranch hands get the Yellowstone branded on their chest.
Okay.
So I know me and you, I feel like we're on the same page of never getting like permanent ink, but we should find somebody to do like a henna tattoo on us for the AJM so we can rock
have
it.
A brand. We could brand ourselves.
No. I don't want to brand ourselves. I think it'd be fun to get it like as a temporary.
I don't want to brand ourselves.
A temporary tattoo. I mean, well, we are branded. I mean, we eat, breathe, and sleep AJM, but
that's fair.
But yeah, man, we could get like kind of like
you don't want to be like one of those fraternities that has like a brand in their chest. One of those fraternity members that like got branded.
No, man, I've always leaned towards pleasure, not pain, when it comes to the body.
Interesting.
You know what I mean? Like I don't want to like.
What's the hand signal there, Joe?
Talking with my hands and it playing really badly for the viewers at home.
Okay.
But thank you, Lauren. Yes, it is amazing.
Okay. Okay.
So, anyways,
I just want a cow. I just want a cow. I want one cow, and we brand that cow.
I know, but we need to find somebody who does ironworks who we can get the actual AJM as a brand. The brand I got was 3 letters.
Oh, the actual
yeah,
thing.
the design. Yeah, the actual
like
logo.
Here, the thing that's in the bottom middle of your screen.
Yes.
There. Yeah.
Yeah. So if anybody out there is like a welder or an iron worker, holler at your boys. Yeah. We would love to have that.
We would love to, in some capacity.
Yeah, and then if somebody has a cow,
that
and it's okay, they want branded.
Yeah, they want AJM branded. Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. So since we're also kind of making mention of little side hustles,
yep,
little side gigs, little extra things. First of all, I want to say I appreciate Adam and Highly Unapologetic having me out last week and allowing me to record in place of Wes. And I mean, it was a great time. I stayed with Adam for about 4 or 5 days, something like that. And excellent time. Every time we've gotten together, there's only been one night like they've stayed, and then they had to leave. Passing
as ships in the night, yeah.
Right, get back on the road and go. And so, having the ability to hang out like we used to do at church camp, man, because that was a 3 to 5 day event, depending. Yep. I don't remember exactly what it was, but man, that was what it basically brought back, was the ability to hang out, to go do stuff, and not be just restricted with time, basically. So, anyways,
it was a good episode.
Thank you. I appreciate that. If you have,
what about Pente though?
Hey, listen, you remember Pente?
Of course, I remember Pente, man.
Of course you do. Old Joyce will not let you forget Pente, because I think she introduced it to everybody.
Oh, she did for sure.
Yeah.
And now because of y'all, I'll never forget Pente either.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I wish they would have had block us whenever we were in church camp, because I like Pente from the standpoint of it's a strategy game.
Oh, for sure.
And you have to have some version of strategery to get you through that, and a lot of that is logic based. Which for me, I'm a math teacher. Logic based is what I do. So, but block us, man.
Post pandemic, we need to have a game night.
That's fair. That's fair. I challenge all my kids at school that they can't beat me in block us. And I think it happened one time, and I won't tell you how they did it, but anyways, out of maybe 200 games, something like that, I have a pretty strong success rate. Now, to be fair, about half of those games are teaching the kids how to play. So the first game is they don't know how to play it. The second game, I show them what I do. And then I still beat them. Yeah. So that way they can be aware of a strategy going in, and they can choose to use it or not at that point. So anyways, and then sometimes I also tell them, go look at this game, go play it online or whatever, and then come back and challenge me. And
we used to love playing that as kids.
Dude, block us is so much fun.
But I do want to have like a risk game.
Speaking of block us, Jessica.
Yeah, she's pretty good. She's hardcore.
Yeah, she is hardcore, but she lost to me.
I know.
And she said she would take my money, which we didn't put any money on it, but she said she would make me look silly, and I think that did not happen.
Speaking of,
this is just my opportunity to do a little bragging and maybe a little trash talking to Jess.
Yeah. Speaking of, Had you made it over Christmas Day in time? But when we played the dice game,
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the dice game.
Okay, well I don't remember what it's called, but Jess had us play it on Christmas, and it was a lot of fun.
Okay. Oh yes.
Yeah.
We played the dice game. Yes.
Yeah.
I forgot the premise of it, but
what up, Kelly?
yeah, that was unfortunate gaming. So Trey, are you telling me to start Yellowstone? Because
Yes.
Joey's already started it.
I think he's telling you.
So I should start Yellowstone.
Yeah,
okay.
it's got Trey and Lauren's seal of approval.
Yeah. So just for Lance Doty, who said Peaky Blinders was amazing, and for Trey, who mentioned Peaky Blinders with Cillian Murphy, I've already finished it. Well, I say finished it. There's supposed to be another season coming out. So, excellent. Difficult if you don't have the captions on to understand, because it's some of that hardcore old English. Straight from the slums of Britain.
Right.
I mean that.
Doesn't it have a little bit of a Gangs of New York
it's
vibe?
It's like street slang, British street slang. It's very difficult at times to understand. Sometimes it's easy, but I'm glad I had the captions on.
Good deal, man.
Chris, no, you can't. So anyways, challenge accepted if that's what you're doing there.
Speaking of Chris,
challenging me at Blockus there.
Speaking of Chris, buddy, we're gonna have to get with you, man. We got plans.
Yeah, we're thinking season 4 finale in the jacuzzi.
Yes.
Season 4 finale in the jacuzzi. Yeah. Just send us a little comment. Are you in or are you out?
Super fan set a bar high that says podcast in jacuzzi at new house.
Yeah.
We said instantly yes.
Yes.
Season 4 finale.
Why not make it the finale?
And if you want to, Chris, because this is now your permanent gig with Average Joe's Media,
yeah.
If you want to start thinking about a season 5 song parody,
we could debut it during season 4 finale.
We could. I mean, if we're in the jacuzzi, I don't know if we're going to go like a little Beach Boys summer theme. Or, I don't know.
Wow. What? Summer will be basically over.
Oh, that's fair.
By the time season 5 starts.
I don't know. We're going to start thinking of some good stuff.
Okay. Maybe it's got to be it's got to be a USA theme based on all this.
Yes.
Based on everything that's going on.
Speaking of, did you see?
Party in the USA.
Oh, Miley Cyrus.
Proud to be an American.
Have you seen the
give me
remake
another
of the
American song? Based song?
Born in the USA by the Springsteen.
Yeah, Born in the USA.
Or what's the one about sticking the boot up the horizontal?
By the horizontal
Keith.
Butt crack.
Yeah. Shout out to Toby Keith.
Yeah.
Did you see the memory I shared on Facebook? It's been a year since we had our fun little Oklahoma takeover trip.
Because we went for July 4th.
Yes.
And I mean, we did not actually make a recording at that Oklahoma. We did not actually publish a recording.
Yeah, not to be published ever.
Yeah.
But I tell you what, though, it'd be worth it.
If we published that now, we'd be canceled.
We would probably.
And there was no malice in that episode whatsoever.
No.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's funny.
A plethora of ignorance, though.
That's fair.
Debatable. But anyway, I'd like to go back sometime just to go eat at Mickey Mantle's.
Yeah, absolutely.
That was a
phenomenal
atmosphere.
Sometimes you may have to go down the night before we record, stay in a hotel room so we can have a good dinner, and then wake up and record.
That's fair.
Yeah, just saying. But now it's going to maybe have to be Memphis because Josh is in Memphis now.
That's fair.
But I mean, Corey and Jeff are still in Tulsa.
So we just have to find something in the middle.
Well, possibly. Bring the stuff to record.
And I got to tell you, after the day trip to Beavers Bend this week, I don't know if we've been talking about trying to go back and take the girls this week, but it may or may not happen. But
I'm thinking about doing that when my girls get back from Missouri.
Yeah.
That looks like a lot of fun.
It was just incredible. But
see, I think my kiddos would like going on, like doing the canoes.
Yep. The paddle boats.
Or whatever at that little place. Because they got the snow cones right over there too, I think.
They put in a putt-putt too.
Did they? Okay, cool. They might like that little, that cliff diving thing where it's like, it looks like it should have a diving board off of it.
Yeah.
You know?
See, that's I didn't see it.
Oh, did you not? They may have taken it down.
They could have. But the place where we were at, to me, I don't remember that place. So that feels newer.
Yeah.
Or maybe just it wasn't that developed,
we
didn't travel there.
That's fair.
But that also had a lot of tubing.
Yeah.
and stuff. So, anyways, I want to go. We were going to do it, but with COVID and all the fun stuff, we decided not to get the cabin up there. But the plan is in the next 12 months, God willing.
Yeah.
Depending upon things die down with everything, is to go get one of those big old cabins and just as many folks,
as we can
safely can be around each other.
Changed my mind.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But seriously, I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. The boys loved it, and I think that's something we're gonna try to do more.
See, I don't know if Tara would want to go because she's an indoor cat, man. She stays at her computer. She stays in her bedroom. She stays pretty much confined unless she's coming out to eat something. If she goes outside, it's to play with the dog or walk the dog. Yeah. Like, it's specifically dog related. It's not specifically for Tara related, right? She's not going out to play any games or play sports or anything. She's just going out to hang out with the dog. So she's pretty confined to her room. She's an indoor cat. Both of my other two kids, they're also pretty indoor, but Cameron has expressed the interest to go camping. And Maddie, of course, is Miss Diva.
She's a glamper.
She really is. So she's not really big on the camping, but I've mentioned the Beaver's Bend, where there's cabins which would have air conditioning and an oven and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she was more okay with having a cabin and then going out and doing things as opposed to sleeping in a tent.
Yeah, I've only done the tent thing once, and it ended up. We scared ourselves. The
tent could be rough depending on where you go. I went to Grand Teton National Park with Jesse Beeson and Paul Lamb one time.
Wow, that had to be awesome.
That was a very interesting trio. I love both of them. Miss Jesse, and that was my first time. It might have been my second time. No, I think it was my first time sleeping in a tent. The second time I was at the river in college. We had a fraternity trip to the Guadalupe.
Me and Michael Abernathy and Chad Baker, we'd gone. I want to think it was close to. I don't remember specifically, but I feel like it might have been Texoma at Eisenhower State Park, and we had gotten a screened-in shelter.
Yep.
Mike's dad was going to sleep in the van.
Yep.
And then we were going to do a tent.
Mm-hmm.
But we had convinced ourselves that we'd seen an alligator.
Chad
was a Boy
those
Scout.
Things attack the tents pretty quickly.
Chad was a Boy Scout, later become an Eagle Scout. The dude knew everything. He could call out what type of bird it was from flying in the sky, so we listened to him. But we convinced ourselves, and I'll never forget, we freak ourselves out, we go rolling up to the van.
That's
funny. And Mike's dad's ex-Air Force, we scared the crap out of him. He was ready to, attack whatever was threatening us, and we were like, it's an alligator.
Yep.
And he was like, are you freaking serious right now?
Yep.
Get to that screened-in shelter. Lights off, get to sleep. I'm not messing with this. It was hilarious.
Okay, so this is something that we're going to put out, for you guys. Most of the people that jump on to these comment threads or whatever, we've been friends with for a long time, and you know what? If you're not a longtime friend but been a longtime listener, you're invited too. Why not? So Adam is wanting to get into golf or get back into golf.
Yeah, I told you I wanted to try
and
too.
And Joe, you've talked about wanting to get into golf. So I told him our first golf outing should be Beavers Bend's golf course.
Yes.
I've not played it before. I think Adam maybe has played it with his dad and brothers and Kenny and Daniel.
I did the driving range that second year.
That's right. We did
camp.
The driving range, but I've never played the course. My brother, I know for sure, went with Kenny and Daniel and played the course before. And so Adam said he's played it, but he's good to go back. So I got a couple extra set of golf clubs. I got 3 sets of golf clubs, so you don't have to specifically buy yourself a set of golf clubs if you don't need one. But John, I know you like playing golf, so you are more than welcome to show up. Chris
is a competitor.
Chris is just a natural competitor. I don't know if he likes golf, but even if you just want to get out there and ride in a cart and hang out with the Joes, and Highline Apologetic.
Yep, it'd be fun.
But I told him that's the first one that I want to do. Get out there, and it may be a thing where we have to get a hotel or a motel or a cabin or something, because playing around a golf then driving another 3 hours back might not be comfortable. Okay, it may be just fine, and for Adam it's going to be.
Oh yeah, well, Adam would be different,
right? Adam, I think, is going to have to do a stay over here at my house.
Right.
We go together, and then does another stay over before he drives home. But you know what? He's a trooper. He may be able to do it all. Changed my mind.
Hey, you never know. Yeah, it'd be fun, man. Because
Yep.
that's what I was thinking about this week being on vacation. I'd started to think about us trying to go, but just with the different stuff with the kids.
And
And
dude,
everything.
listen, if we get like 5 or 6 people, I'm thinking we do like dollar a hole type stuff.
Yeah.
You know, just whoever has the best score wins a dollar. If 2
But here's
people
the thing,
tie,
if
they
we
split.
took-
If we take 5 or 6 people, what's 6 times 18?
We get a decent early tea time.
It's $108. Just
You know what I mean? Well, especially if we have a couple of us going, we could share the driving duties. Somebody, you know what I mean? Like somebody,
That's true.
somebody drive up, somebody drive
that's
back,
true.
or whatever.
You don't like staying in beds that aren't your own. Have you changed that yet? Changed my mind. Changed my mind.
I don't know yet,
Okay.
but just saying.
Okay. Moyer said John's in. He loves it. Well, he didn't say he's in. He said he loves it.
I read that as in.
Yeah. Well, I read it as in also, but he has a newborn.
I know. That's why I said day trip.
I know, but he has a newborn.
That's fair.
It's it's much more difficult with a newborn to do what you want to do than it is with a toddler.
Well, and we may or may
older.
not, at different, depending upon people's scheduling,
Yeah.
may or may not, in addition to doing the Beavers Bend, maybe we do it around here.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
It's more accommodating.
That's right. So, but listen, I just because we were on the Beavers Bend kick.
Yeah.
I think that's going to be the first golf excursion with me and Adam.
Yep.
Obviously, you are welcome to join.
For sure, dude.
But you gotta play
Adam
all
heard
18.
his name. Adam heard his name. He's on now.
He is. His ears were burning. That's good. Just talking about the Beavers Bend trip.
Yeah. And then maybe we eventually have an
Go and play some golf,
Average Joe's Media Invitational.
dude. That's what I'm talking about right there.
That could be a lot of fun.
Okay, so change my mind, Joe. Change my mind. I want you to change my mind.
Okay.
This was the best decision I've made in weeks. Okay, change my mind.
Okay.
Last night I put some Oreos in the freezer. Okay, and I did this because I have in my pantry, I have some Hershey's and I have Reese's ice cream shell. And so I poured the Reese's. I didn't do the Hershey's, just did the Reese's because I wanted that peanut butter kick, you know. I poured the Reese's on the Oreos, and it didn't shell up instantly because it just wasn't cold enough or I put too much or something. So I put it back in the freezer for 2 minutes because stuff freezes pretty quickly or hardens. I had 7 Oreos on this plate. Circle of 6 with one in the middle. I ate them all for breakfast this morning. Best decision ever. Changed my mind.
I don't know, man.
Best decision in a long time. Changed my mind.
I don't know if I'm going to change your mind with it. Sounds like it was invigorating.
It was. It's probably why I'm a little hyper right now.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing. If after experiencing a period of time
Yep.
where nothing really tasted good at all,
Yep.
I'm all for indulging right now into things that taste good.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Absolutely.
I mean-
after losing your taste for 3 days, you're anything that tastes good, you're down with.
I did. I've fallen in love with cowboy chicken,
Yeah.
and they have the darker salsa. It's like a real dark color. I don't know what peppers are used in that, as opposed to your more traditional salsa.
Sure. Sure.
But I probably in the last 10 days,
Yeah.
not 10 days, maybe the last week, I've probably done it 3 times, where I've gotten that, a thing of rice,
Uh-huh.
and a thing of their ranchero beans,
Okay.
and that's my meal.
Oh wow.
So it's like best impromptu meal ever.
Okay.
Changed my mind.
Okay. Well.
Ranchero beans, salsa, and Spanish rice. So
yeah.
good.
I mean, I'd say the ranchero beans I could do without because I'm not a big fan of beans. But when it comes to when it just comes to taste specifically, nobody's going to be able to change your mind.
That's fair.
They can disagree with you all the time because people have different tastes. Trey, by the way, just to jump, Trey, you are welcome to the Beavers Bend golf trip as well. I mean, I would be upset if you didn't show.
Well, here's the thing. I want Trey to come because I know that I'm most likely going to lose because I've never really played.
Yeah.
and me and you were super competitive.
Yeah, well.
So if I can't win, I need someone other than you to win by proxy to feel like, you know.
Oh,
what I mean? I beat
you're
you.
just automatically going to say Trey's going to beat me.
Trey's a specimen.
That's true.
The dude
It's true.
he looks like he's built to crush and dominate every sport known to man.
Okay.
So I got this feeling that Trey is gonna.
That's fair.
I got a feeling Trey's probably gonna win.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right. So all right. So
change my mind.
Yeah.
Trey Scott would dominate any athletic competition.
Well, okay.
I bet you he's even.
First
good
of
at
all,
curling.
I'm not going to get out there and say that golf is like a superior athletic event.
Okay.
I mean, you're not. The only way true athleticism plays a role in that is when you are walking the course and you're having to walk 6 miles and also do the swinging of the golf club, carry your bag of clubs or whatever. Like, that's the only time, because that brings endurance into the picture. But if you're driving a golf cart and you're stepping out to take a shot, you're really limiting the athleticism. Change my mind. You're really limiting how athletic you have to be in order to play golf and be okay at it. If you're in a golf cart.
I can tell you.
Change my mind.
The average Jacobus.
Yeah. No,
He
Jacobus will beat me.
Yeah, he said easy money.
Yeah, he will. But if we're playing hole by hole, it's not going to be as much easy money. And change my mind.
Okay.
Change my mind. If we're playing hole by hole, listen, I'm gonna beat John in some holes, right? John's probably gonna beat me in more, but they'll offset, right? There'll be a difference there, so it won't be all 18.
Who's got the better hole game? I get it. I got to tell you, I was a pretty good putter back in the day.
Okay, so if you can get to the green, you
fair.
feel like you'll be all right.
Yeah, man. See how good I am at driving.
That's fair.
That is fair.
Okay, so we've delved into comparisons of things.
Yep.
And listen, I'm sticking with Sweet Tarts and Smarties are the same thing.
It's ridiculous, but
Mayo and Miracle Whip, same thing. Coke and Pepsi, same thing.
No, it's not.
Same thing. Change my mind.
Okay, first of all,
Same thing.
First of all, it's not. Okay, so here's the deal. Coke has a much higher carbonation content. Okay, and so it has a much spicier taste to it.
No, they
whereas
have the exact
Pepsi-
same taste.
No, it does not.
Yeah,
And
especially
so
somebody who just got their taste back.
Pepsi's a lot sweeter, similar to how the difference between Dr. Pepper and Coke.
No,
Yes, completely.
Pepsi and Coke are the same.
They are not the same.
Change my mind.
That's like saying Diet Coke and Coke Zero taste the same. They do not.
No.
At all.
Listen. I know that. I realize that, but Coke, the standard Coca-Cola and the standard Pepsi,
No, it's not.
same thing.
No, it's
Change
not.
my mind.
I don't know how to change your mind, because if your mind is in a place that is so lost and confused that you think that Pepsi and Coke taste the exact same,
Okay.
It's a lost cause at this point, buddy, because it's just, I mean, seriously, they don't even use the same recipe.
Oh,
But it tastes
they do.
it tastes completely different.
It does not.
That's kind of like when Jared said here and tried to say Dr. Pepper and Dr. Thunder tasted the same, which is complete sacrilege. You know, you like saying Mr. Pibb and Dr. Pepper taste the same.
Listen,
They
I'll go
don't.
one step further. RC Cola and Pepsi and Coke, all three the same thing.
I think RC still has a distinct flavor. I think it's somewhere in
Yeah,
between
the
Pepsi
distinct
and
flavor
Coke.
is the flavor of Coke, and it's horrible.
Pepsi challenge should change your mind. Not the same. By John. And Chris thinks Pepsi's awful. I got to tell you, Chris.
I think both are awful, by the way.
I don't necessarily disagree with you. I've had a hard time with the whole sweeteners.
Yeah.
Because, you have a group of people that say the artificial sweeteners are going to cause cancer and Alzheimer's are going to kill
Depression,
you.
all kinds of stuff. Yeah.
Yes. And all these other things, excess, weight gain, the whole 9 yards. And then, so you're better off drinking a full calorie, right? So I went through this period of time where I was like, well, maybe I don't want to do aspartame, and Diet Pepsi does not have aspartame in it. It's got something else, which is probably going to be the exact same.
Sucralose, right? Something like
So
that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
And so I drank Diet Pepsi for a while, and I adjusted to it. I do still prefer Coke Zero.
It's the official
but-
drink of the average Joe.
It is. Well, iced tea and water, we're trying to make the transition.
Oh, that's true.
Because the amount of Coke Zero I was drinking for that year period,
Right.
I think really, affected the H1AC level. And there's a lot of studies that are showing those artificial sweeteners the body treats us. But anyways, we're digressing.
We are. That's true.
But back in the day when I enjoyed an adult beverage
Okay.
every once in a while,
Okay.
Crown and Pepsi complemented each other much better than Crown and Coke. Again, different taste. And I know we've had
They're the same.
We've had this
They're
same
the
debate
same
with
taste.
which juice is better, more versatile at mixing
Okay,
things.
no, that's
with.
different. Those are clearly different fruit tastes.
But see, I feel like Pepsi and Coke taste completely different. I don't
they
know.
are the
I've
same.
not looked at their ingredients close enough or their recipe.
They are the same. They are the same thing.
So
They're both disgusting. So Chris, you're right.
blind test, I like it. Valerie just joined. Valerie was there for the epic Miracle Whip mayonnaise test that proved that Miracle Whip was.
It did not
completely
prove
different.
anything.
I feel like it did.
I couldn't tell the difference
Valerie,
whenever I was smelling them.
I need
I
you
would
to
not
comment.
taste them.
I need you to comment and help me out here.
I was against tasting them because
But,
I
here's
didn't want
the
to
deal.
throw up on Christmas celebration.
Okay, Chris says until you try whiskey with Dr. Pepper, you haven't lived.
Oh, that's not going to happen.
I don't.
Listen, I tried 2 types of wine the last few days.
Oh, really? How'd that go?
It's horrible. Okay, I tried a Cabernet Sauvignon.
How about a Bourbon?
Horrible. I mean, dude, one taste and the aftertaste in my mouth wanted me to die. It was
I don't know.
horrible. The second one was a sweet red on the recommendation of Andrew, who said a sweet red has less alcohol per volume or whatever, and it's just a sweeter taste.
It's dry.
See, the Cabernet was drier than the
Yeah.
sweet red.
I prefer
But
Zinfandel.
the sweet red I was able to have 2 sips of before I got that terrible taste in my mouth. The Cabernet I only could take 1 sip, and dude. For those of you that are wine lovers, I emptied the bottle in the sink. It was
How do
disgusting.
you? My question is how do you drink things warm? I don't understand that. So I went through a period.
They
of
were
time
chilled. They were chilled.
When
Now
I was
they
in
were
my-
because they were in air conditioning.
It's really weird how things evolve. Like I never was a beer drinker. When we were younger and doing those types of things, I preferred, the more the malt beverages. But then I got to a period of time where I enjoyed occasional beer. When I quit smoking, couldn't do that anymore. So I tried wine.
Yeah.
But I had to drink wine with ice. And
Interesting.
I looked very weird. I was at this, I'd gone to this conference out of state, and there was it was really, to me, the fanciest thing I think I'd ever been to.
Okay.
And, it passed around all the hors d'oeuvres and, all that kind of stuff.
Okay. Wait.
I know. I was saying it wrong on purpose.
Oh,
It's
okay.
hors d'oeuvre, but
Okay. Hey, listen. Some of those whores, they might get offended. Okay, they're gonna get.
But the only thing I'd gotten to the point to where I really just preferred hard ciders. They didn't have one, so I was like, okay, cool. I'll try
Yeah.
a glass of wine, and then I told the bartender, I was like, can I have some ice in that? And the dude looked at me like I was crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm sorry, I don't drink my wine without. But
Okay.
I don't know, man. I've tried it. I think the last time I tried it, we were in Boston at this Italian restaurant in their Little Italy that was ranked, I think, one of the top 5 Italian restaurants in the world a few years prior. They still had their little plaque up.
Right.
It was beautiful, man. It was a really cool experience. And who I was with at the time was like, hey, go ahead and get a glass of wine. He was very much a wine connoisseur.
Yeah.
And I couldn't drink it. And I think it was because we were kind of celebrating. So
Yeah.
I think it was fairly probably expensive glass of wine. He probably bought a good bottle. And I was like, I can't. And he was like, are you serious? So he's just like, come on, I'm going to drink it. But I just can't do
listen,
it.
here's the reason why I tried the wine. It's generally speaking less hard of a taste than liquor. Like it's less of a burning, less of a strong taste than liquor, right? I don't want to taste beer because it smells like pee. I'm not gonna drink something that smells like pee.
I'm not a big. I never really got
Just saying.
into it, but I will tell you, there's been
Change my mind.
the
Beer
best
smells like pee.
The best beers I've ever tasted have been like on a hot day.
Okay.
Something about ice cold beer, really good. But if you want to try something with alcohol content, I would encourage you to try a hard cider. I think those things taste exceptional.
Okay. So you want me to throw in my man card if I'm going to try alcohol?
There's nothing hard ciders. I mean,
kidding.
very manly. I was about to say-
Change my mind.
Shout out to Bishop Arts, or excuse me, Bishop Cider Company. That's
Okay.
it's been. Dude, I think it's been
All right.
a long time.
Okay,
I
so
don't
here's
know.
those are the first two.
Okay.
Those are the first two. They were a little surface.
Yeah.
Okay? But I had this discussion the other day. There's only one absolute in sports,
Okay.
and that absolute is the winner of a competition. A winner and a loser. Changed my mind. There's only one absolute in sports.
I disagree.
Okay? Changed my mind.
So I think let me take a step backwards. Are you referring to sports in general,
Yep.
team sports specifically, or individual sports?
All sports.
So I think the only absolute in sports is sportsmanship.
Say that again?
I think the only absolute in sports is sportsmanship, because you can.
See, I think sportsmanship has a perspective to it.
But I guess my thing is winning and losing. There's more to it. There are moral victories. There are personal victories, even in loss.
No. Okay, but those are perspective based as well. Like if, listen, the absolute is the person who is leading at when the final whistle blows, they win. Like that is the absolute
but
in sports.
All sports have ties, just about. So that isn't an absolute then, because there's three different outcomes. There's winner, loser, and there's tying.
Okay. There's a winner. The outcome of the game is the only absolute in sports. The outcome of the game.
You have a winner, a loser, or a draw.
Or no winner of a game. Right? So there's only one absolute with the winning and the losing. What's another way to say you lost the game? You did not win. Would you agree with that? You either won the game or you did not win.
That's up there with Ricky Bobby's. If you're not first, you're last.
No. You either win the game or you don't win the game. And not winning includes tying because you didn't win. Would you disagree with that? Like if me and you played a game of basketball and we both scored 10 and we fainted, did I beat you? No. You did not win. I did not win. You either have a winner or you don't win. And not winning includes tying.
Okay, so
There's only one absolute in sports, and that is the result of the game. You either win or you don't.
there's only one absolute in, I guess, scoring a game. I would agree with you on that.
What's the purpose of sports if there's no score? That's okay.
Well,
Sports don't exist unless there is a way to measure the game.
We didn't gain what we gained playing sports growing up.
Okay.
What we take with us
Yeah.
has nothing to do with winning or losing.
Yeah, but that's not an absolute.
But you just said, what's the point of playing a game outside of that?
What's the point of creating the game and therefore playing it? You're not going to create a game that's not going to be played. Agreed? Like, I mean, listen, you can create a game all day long and nobody play it. But what are you doing when you create the game? You're creating a way to determine the end result of the game.
Well, I think this goes back to our epic winner's mentality. Season 3.
What I'm saying is, I'm thinking that there's only one absolute in sports. Let me give you an example.
I agree with you. My perspective though is like how you play the game is the absolute.
But
That's the only singular. That's the singular unifying, the singular constant. When you're talking about competition, is how an individual goes about doing it.
But that changes. That changes on a variety of factors. You can't always give the exact same effort in every single game. You can't do it. Look at the finals game where Pippen had the back injury. He had a mentality that was unmoving, but he did not have the physicality to back that up.
Yeah.
Whereas in every other game, he was able to give 110% both mentally and physically. In that game,
But
he
he did give 110% of himself.
Oh my God. Okay, whatever. But what does absolute mean? What does absolute mean?
I'm saying I don't see winning and losing as being the only two outcomes. I think winning and losing is very relative unless you're talking to the scoring of the game.
Okay, sports don't exist without a score. Move on. Move on. Move on to the next topic of disagreement, if you disagree. You don't have a sport unless there's a score.
Dude, listen, I'm not saying that there's not scoring in sports. I'm just saying I don't view winning or losing as absolute. Because I think there's other outcomes. There's winning, there's losing, there's a draw. And I don't think that those are the only...
Okay, let me give you
the only deliverable or the only outcome you are working towards. I'll put it that way.
Let me say that the first person I had this discussion with, Lauren, she said, what about statistics? Because she's not jumping into this philosophical version of this conversation where sports means life, which is where you're at right now.
Yeah, I've always been there.
Yeah, but I'm just talking about when you play a game, there's only one absolute. You're going to walk away with a lesson that's different than the lesson that I'm going to walk away with, but absolutely at the end of the game, there is either going to be someone who wins, someone who doesn't win.
I know, but I'm saying that
That's what an absolute is. An absolute is something that's irrevocable.
I'm saying the score is arbitrary, though, because I'm saying there are people that walk away gaining much more in a loss than people do from winning oftentimes.
But that's not absolute. That's not absolute. It may be absolute for you, but it's not absolute for the sport. In sports, I didn't say for you in the game.
I don't know how else to describe it. I'm just saying the way my mind works
Okay.
is I don't see winning or losing as being the only two outcomes in a sporting event, and I don't see those as being absolute because of how relative I think those two things are. I think it's arbitrary.
Okay, let's put it in terms of rankings.
Yeah.
Who's the best team in the 90s in basketball?
Well, see, that's all relative too, because then you break. That's why I hate these sports debates that take place on all the different sports shows, especially more so now because there's nothing really good to watch sports wise.
Okay, what was the best sports franchise in the 90s in basketball?
By what measure? Because that's what everything goes by now. Is for every argument you make, I can make a counterpoint because I'm going off another data set.
Okay,
it's all relative.
Tell me another organization in the 90s that was a better organization than the Bulls. And give me data that makes that up. I'll give you one piece of data.
Hold on,
they won 6 championships. They appeared in 6 championships. If they were in the championship, they won it. They're the best organization in the 90s in the NBA.
But some could argue that they were not the best organization. They had the best outcomes. There was dissension within the ranks. There was problems with the management. You had contract disputes.
Despite that, they still did what?
I said they had the best outcomes.
Despite all that, they won.
I said they had the best outcomes, but I'm not saying they were the best run organization. Did they make the most money out of all other franchises during that period of time? I don't have that data. Did they sell the most tickets? I don't have that data either. Was their merchandise sold more than any other ones? I don't have that data.
What is the measure that measures quality of a franchise? Like, what's the football franchise that everybody hates right now because they're winning?
Well, but that's not the only thing that those folks are out there doing. It's also a business. So you can have an organization that outprofits another one.
Every now and then, I'd like for you to answer a question.
How am I not answering a question?
You're diverting to a different point.
No, I'm not.
Almost every single time.
How am I diverting to a different point?
I said, who is the franchise that everybody hates right now in football because they are winning all the time?
Okay, yeah, New England Patriots.
And you said it's not about that. It's about this other aspect of the organization. You diverted to a different point.
Well, I'm just saying they're not, by certain definitions, they're not the most successful. They're not the best NFL franchise right now.
What is success in sports?
Well, it depends on the lens you're looking at.
Give me a lens.
Well, who's winning the most or who's making the most money?
So your very first lens was who's winning and what generally pays the high salaries. What's generally the number one underlying reason for a large bankroll?
Dallas Cowboys are the
Generally-
wealthiest sporting organization in the world, and we haven't won a title in over 20 years.
I'm not going to discount that.
Right, so I'm saying
That has nothing to
depends
do
on the lens
with-
you're looking at. So the Dallas Cowboys are the most successful franchise financially in NFL football. They're not they haven't won the most championships though.
Okay.
And so then you have some people that'll argue that even though New England won all those championships, a lot of people claim that those championships should be negated to some extent because of the cheating that took place by the organization throughout the period of time. Same thing with the Astros, right? The Astros were by that definition, they won the World Series. They are the best. But
And they lost it. So the Nationals were the best team in baseball last year.
so they lost, but now they're the best team because the other team was
The
disqualified.
Nationals were the best team in baseball last year because they won. They beat the Astros.
No, I'm talking about the year the Astros won.
Oh, okay.
So they were the best because they won,
Okay.
right? But then it came to find out they won by cheating,
Okay.
right? So now other people are going to make the argument, well, they weren't the best in baseball because they cheated. So this other team was most likely the best.
Okay, so
team
that
ever played
argument.
together. So you know what I'm saying?
That argument requires this year, or maybe a full season, where that stops, and then it's generally the same player base. And do they perform similarly?
But I'm saying everything.
It requires a comparison. There's no comparison yet.
Everything is open to an asterisk.
Everything is open to an asterisk.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you look at baseball especially.
Okay.
Baseball rewrites its history every couple of years
Okay.
because there's some statistic
Yeah.
that's always going to be
That's why I say
negated
statistics
or put
aren't an
asterisk.
absolute.
Okay, we agree on that point.
I'm just talking about a single game in sports. There's one absolute. When you're playing a sport, there's one absolute.
Let's look at college football.
Okay.
You have some college football organizations who win a national championship. A national championship, by the definition of your absolutes, winning and losing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure.
There are teams that don't even get a chance to play for the national championship with
Sure.
perfect records
Sure.
for 4 or 5 years in a row.
Yeah.
Versus teams who have lost 4 or 5 games in a season.
Okay.
So there are scenarios where the
true.
national champions in college football does not equate to the best team in college football.
And that's not the absolute. The absolute is not who's the best. The absolute is during the national championship game, somebody won and somebody didn't.
Okay.
Do you understand what I'm saying? There's only one absolute in sports. Everything else is up for interpretation or an asterisk or a qualification or a different lens or anything else. But sports were created. Like a game, whether it's a board game, whether it's a game on the field, the game is created with an objective to win. And there's only one way, or there's probably multiple ways to win, but there's only one result. You either win or you don't. And that includes a tie. You tie with somebody, nobody wins. So you don't win.
I guess where I was coming from that is a lot of sports organizations and development with kids, with youth, and even in adults.
Yeah, okay.
Their design is not solely based on winning or losing.
Okay, and that's fine.
I get
I don't know why you went there when I said there's only one absolute in sports, and you either win the game or you don't win the game.
Well, dude, anyone who's listened to us
Yeah.
for at least a singular episode knows that sometimes we're potatoes and potatoes, tomatoes and tomatoes with how we see things.
This is you did not hear me. This is you didn't
heard
hear
you.
the argument because you went into some kind of philosophical debate where I was like, you play a game, and the only absolute in that game is did you win it or did you not? Like all the statistics that happen. I mean, statistics are what they are. You know my feeling on statistics.
I do.
And I heard somebody, I was watching a bunch of Facebook videos that said the professor in the class said, led the class off with statistics don't lie, liars use statistics.
That's fair.
Yeah, and I was like, that's completely correct. And so
That
you
is.
really have to look with a microscope to see through the BS. with the statistics because
So
you can make a statistic say whatever you want, and that's because you're trying to push an agenda, generally speaking.
that's fine. I'll concede your point then on the absolute, not how I interpreted the meaning of the question. So
Okay. Do you have anything that any points of view where you want me to change your mind? No.
so many.
Okay.
I don't know. Let me see what I had going on here on the old list here.
My next one is going to be hinging upon the same premise. Just so you're aware.
I need to refill the cup of freedom then, huh?
You might need to. Yeah.
All right. See, I have two.
Okay.
Okay. You want me to give you both and let you choose which one you want to
No,
dive into
just
first?
give me one.
Okay.
Pick.
There will be no professional sports played in 2020. I'm sorry. No, hold on.
That's
Hold on.
false.
Well, I know,
Baseball's opening day will be July 24th.
I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that because as soon as I said it, I was like, okay. I wasn't very absolute in that statement.
That's true.
I don't think that there will be a full season of a professional sport played and finished. So whatever baseball starts, I don't think they'll finish it.
Okay.
Whatever basketball starts up again, I don't think they'll finish it. Same thing with soccer.
Yeah.
And as much as I
think
hate to
baseball baseball you can't necessarily, you can already include baseball in this argument because they've already truncated their season. But
I'm saying I don't think they're gonna finish the truncated season.
I
man.
think baseball is the one closest to being able to do it because when you're on the field, regardless of where you're at on the field, you are socially distanced from
Have
everybody.
you seen some of those rules though?
Well, with the exception of somebody who's on first base and the first baseman getting ready to get him picked off or whatever.
No stealing.
What?
I believe there's no stealing.
I don't think that's accurate.
Some of the rules I was reading somewhere where some of the rules are pretty gnarly.
I don't think that's accurate. But there's not going to be any fans at these games, right? They're going to make all their money from TV deals and stuff. So the dugout becomes irrelevant. Now you can sit up in the stands and you can sit 6 feet apart, which kind of eliminates one of those things you were talking about with sports. You learn camaraderie in sports,
Right.
and you develop friendships that last a long time.
That is also fair.
And so now you got to sit 6 feet apart, which they can accomplish that without having fans there. They can't really accomplish it unless they rope off a section and fans can sit around it.
I'm just saying, ultimately, what the athletes are going to be asked to sacrifice versus what they're going to get out of playing when this adjusted experience. I think
They're getting money out of playing.
But I mean, most of those player agreements, they're going to get money regardless.
But the ones who, the vast majority, are the ones that aren't going to get money regardless. They're the ones that are getting money when they play, if they play, or if they suit up. And so they're going to have to play. Now, it may be more like a replacement season.
Yeah.
Because we've already heard a few of them, like Max Scherzer, I think is one. There's a handful that have come out that are big names that said, I'm not going to risk it.
Well, one of them, I think, has a baby that's coming up due, and I think it's their firstborn.
Sure.
And he was like, I'm not going to stay away from my family that whole period of time.
Well, stay away from the family, and then the baby is probably, the infant and the elderly are like the most at risk for being susceptible to a disease like this that could compromise their immune system.
Right, but I'm saying like the widespreadness of it. Like, for example, FC Dallas, is it FC Dallas now? It's not the Dallas Burn.
I don't know, but you went from baseball straight to soccer pretty quickly.
Well, I just wanted to use this as an example because their tournament's starting soon.
Okay.
Soccer,
in my opinion, is the second sport that is most likely to finish because, again, the soccer field is so spread out.
well, you're constantly moving.
You're constantly moving. Very rarely is there more than two people like within 6 feet of each other. The
Yep.
biggest time they're within 6 feet is when two people are
100%
challenging
outdoors.
for the ball. No, not necessarily 100% outdoors.
MLS, I think, is. I don't think there's any completely self-contained indoor stadiums. I don't think.
Well, I would be. Well, maybe you might be right about that.
But anyways, they had so many players test positive. They had to pull the whole team from the tournament.
Yeah. Well, that's fair.
You know, so I'm saying I
But what's going to happen now? I mean, this is the conversation me and you had yesterday a little bit about the getting affected a second time. Like, those numbers are extremely low. So if a whole team gets it now and they have to miss one tournament, they should be – wow, okay. Go around.
Yeah, I was like, who's picking it up?
If they get it now and they miss one tournament, they should be good for the rest of the season.
Right.
Generally speaking, there may be one player who gets it a second time, but you can that's what's different than him breaking his leg and having to sit out. Like, there's no difference there. So to me, that's probably the best possible scenario for this team. Pull themselves out for one tournament, everybody gets better.
I think that's
and then
how
they're back in.
It's how they're finishing their season, though. I think is by what I mean by the tournament. I think they're trying to do it kind of like basketball and hockey. They're just calling it, and the top teams
I see.
that potentially had a chance. They're creating a tournament style
Maybe,
thing.
and that's possible. But I guess my
what do you
point
think
is
about college then? College and high school sports.
I don't. Man, I find it very difficult for high schools to have sports seasons this year. I do not think when it's all said and done, we will have a full season of any sport. Maybe golf.
Yeah, because that even in the height of the shutdowns, that still went on to some extent. I mean, I'm sorry, it was the only sport that finished UIL here. I think was golf. Was the only one that got to go back.
Maybe.
Because I don't think softball did.
Well, if you think about golf,
baseball,
all you have to do
soccer.
is one tournament to finish out the season.
Well, that's fair.
All right, a state tournament.
That's
who
fair.
was the best, or whatever, who qualified, or if everybody qualified for regionals, just bring them all to state, and then the best one wins. I mean, so 1 3-day tournament, and you're good to go. Everything else required weeks of planning and one team of 20 would play another team of 20, and then another team of 20, and then another team. And so how many kids are you involving in a daily playoff, And so to me, I hate that we got shut down from the standpoint of it was my first season as head coach. I had a team that
first place.
They would have challenged anybody they played. They may not have beat everybody just because that's the nature of sports. You may not win. But the point is that it would have been hard pressed for a team playing them to beat them because they were starting to fire on all cylinders, man.
Fun to watch, man.
And it was very difficult to take that emotionally, mentally. The kids, especially the seniors. The juniors, I'm sure, had an easier time, but still, they realized 14 of the 24 kids were seniors. So majority of the team's seniors. And we did well. We had to have done well, largely in part because of the seniors. Now, the underclassmen that were on the team aren't there by chance. Right, they're there because they earned the spot. They're good enough to play, or they're the best at the position, whatever the descriptors are that you want to put around it. And we have a great base of 10-ish, I forget how many specifically, underclassmen to move the team forward. And then we have people coming up that I think can complement them very, very well. So next year, if there's a season, I think we have a chance of doing really well. Okay, is it going to be the same? No. Right. Season to season, nothing's the same. Right? You just look at the argument with the Bulls. Right? The final outcome was the same. They played the same team twice. I think just one time, maybe a couple times. They played the same organization for the championship with the Jazz. 2 times there at the end. But every opponent other than that was different. The team's composition, the first 3 they won, the second 3 they won after the Jordan retirement, a different composition of teams. The records in the season were different, right? The end result ended up being the same.
Well, and going back to the Patriots, that makeup of those championship teams are just so vastly different every
Absolutely.
year.
Absolutely. So next year's team is not going to be the same.
Right.
Could it have the same result? I think
course.
absolutely they can if they they put their feet to the fire.
Okay, last piece of it. Are we going to see college football?
Yes, I think we will see some of it. I think we have to.
I don't
I
see
think
how
colleges have to.
from financially.
Yeah, I think they have to.
Okay.
Now,
All right.
I don't know how that's going to look in the stands.
Well,
And I don't know how that's going to look on the positive tests.
Yeah, and what decisions are they going to be making based upon how they think it's going to affect their drafting? You know, if you were a junior
Drafting.
No, I'm saying if you were a junior, a sophomore or a junior, and you had a pretty incredible season, right, last year.
It's true.
And you after this season you were planning on declaring for the draft.
Mm-hmm.
If there's a chance that this is going to be a muted, like a augmented, shortened season,
Yep.
you may only get a few tune-up games
Yep.
before it's all called. Are you going to play or not? Because of how that might affect what your draft ranking is going to end up being.
Yeah.
So I think some of the bigger name players potentially, with more to lose,
Yeah.
might sit out, especially if the NFL decides
listen,
they're
this
going
is
to
gonna
move
be
the season to the spring.
This is going to be the year of choice,
Yep.
where, generally speaking, your choices have an effect on you.
Mm-hmm.
This is going to be a season where coaches or organizations or whatever are going to be hard pressed to allow those choices to influence outcomes.
Yep.
Right? I mean,
And now that we're going down the rabbit hole, but even the same thing with some of the social issues facing the country right now, a lot of athletes with these different universities are saying,
yeah, that's fair. Let's see, but see, that's the thing is that generally speaking, your choices have you have a repercussion for your
ripple
choices that
effect.
you make. What?
ripple effect.
Okay, yeah. And so you make a bad choice, it generally affects you poorly, right? Now, I'm not saying that someone who's, let's just say, the top running back in college this year, going into the year from last year, who's still in college, not already been drafted, he chooses to not play because he has that choice because of COVID and all this stuff, which to me, I'm not going to guarantee that that's going to happen, but I feel like that is the thing because like I've already seen it in school. There's been surveys sent out. Are you going to come back and teach if we meet in the fall, or are you going to prefer to do the online school? Are your students going to come in, or are they going to prefer to do the distance learning? And so there's we're going to see a conglomerate of that this year.
And our distance learning students going to be able to compete in UIL activities.
Exactly. So there's in high school, I can almost guarantee this, just from the standpoint of what I've seen and how reactive districts are. Okay, there's going to be meeting on campus for every teacher. There's going to be meeting online for every teacher as well. I feel like there's going to be a period. Now, listen, Trey can, if he's still on here, he can jump in and tell me that's not what he's heard. But I feel like there's going to be a mixture of today, every B-day, this group of teachers stays home for high school. Okay. Every B-day, this group of teachers stay home. I would not be shocked if middle school didn't go to kind of an A-B schedule because of the potential to have these classes meet online only, or to have these classes meet online this part of the week.
See,
it's just, I feel like each teacher is going to be required to come in a couple days and be allowed to stay home a couple days to try to prevent the spread of stuff. And I don't know how that's going to work, but I feel like there's going to have to be some kind of a compromise in that regard.
Well, see, I get the logic behind that, but from an application standpoint,
I don't see the application of it. I don't see how that could be applied.
No, that's what I'm saying. I understand somebody sitting in a room saying, okay, what if we did this?
Yeah.
Best of both worlds, minimizing risk.
Right.
We can accommodate every need.
Yeah.
But application-wise, parents, what are they doing?
Okay, so first of all, on the application of that with parents, if they go into the year making the decision to do distance learning, it's going to be way different than the shutdown effect.
No, agreed. But I'm saying if you wanted your child to attend school in the new way it's going to be. And it was a go to school this day, go to school that day. These group of kids go in for this portion of the day. This group comes in this other portion of the day. I'm saying pick up and drop off and watching your child, who's not say babysitting, but you know what I mean, who's taking care of, who's responsible for your child during all these different things, these scenarios. I think it's going to be a challenge for the average working class parent. And what I've heard from some teacher friends and some, my mom worked a teacher, some of her friends and stuff is, if you're a teacher, an educator like yourself, I mean, obviously, you and Kelly share responsibilities, but if you were doing it, if it was just you or both of y'all were educators, that could be super challenging because if in addition to their schedule being crazy, your expectation for when you're physically working and when you're telecommuting at home.
Sure.
So I've heard there's
you'd have to pull a grandparent or a close friend or something that had the availability.
But
Absolutely.
I've heard and seen some where there's a fairly decent growing number, at least right now, of educators who, 2-income households are staying home this year.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
kind of crazy.
I mean, it's crazy. I didn't know how I could have changed your mind. You just kind of posed a question. You didn't really take a specific stance on the question you posed,
I think you
which
did.
is okay.
Well,
it's
no.
okay.
Well,
Let's go on to the
fair.
next one. Let's go on to the next one. Okay, so I told you this was going to kind of piggyback on the other one, but I kind of live my life this way,
Right.
and there's only two options in life. Okay, for every decision, for everything you do, for every choice you make, for every thing that comes your way, there's only two options for that choice, for that thing you do. You either do or you don't. You either will or you won't. It either does or it doesn't. You either go or you stay. Right? Like, there's only two options.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
I don't feel like there's ever any third options. And listen, this kind of gets into the whole. This could have a tangential thing into the gender discussion, but I mean, we're not going to get there. But
Yeah, we're gonna leave that.
we're going to sidestep that. But generally speaking, even if you do go there with the transgender conversation, you either do have the surgery or you don't. Right? You either live that lifestyle or you don't. So, I mean, you can have that conversation in those veins as well, but not be controversial from a standpoint of what are your beliefs on transgender and all this. Like, we don't have to get into that to understand.
Agreed.
There's two options that every person has whenever they're making a decision.
Yeah, I think that we could agree or disagree on this point outside of the areas that we don't have a lot of understanding or knowledge of.
Sure.
Of people occupying different places in life at the same time.
Sure.
And whatnot. So I wasn't always that way, I don't think.
Okay.
But I'd say last 5 years, I've really developed that mentality because non-action, like not doing something, is like if you have two choices, there's a fork in the road.
Okay.
Right? Standing still is still a choice.
Okay.
You get what I'm saying?
Is it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
Okay.
Or I mean,
listen. So there you go. You either choose a direction or you don't. You either do it or you don't.
Not choosing is a choice, is what I'm trying to say.
Right, but there's only
So I'm
two
agreeing with
choices.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. People who say, "Well, I don't want to choose,"
Like life,
well, you're
life
still making
is
a choice.
Life is a conglomerate. Life is just a thing of a bunch of situations where there are only two options.
Okay, well, this is
life, not food, not what you're about to eat.
Well,
okay, because listen, we can go to Subway and we can debunk this.
We can
argument
have it our way,
with Subway.
No, I was saying
I'm not talking about things that are about life, not just about the menial.
Yes. Okay. I'm sorry. Because I generally view the world less binary than I used to, as far as right versus wrong.
Okay. Now I didn't talk about
No,
right
I know,
versus
no,
wrong.
no,
Now I do believe that there is only two options when it comes to truth versus lies.
I'd say
you're either telling the truth or you are telling a lie, and generally speaking, you can tell 95% truth until you change one word, and then it becomes a lie. The whole statement changes into a non-truth.
Yes, without debating semantics, yeah, we're there. And I wasn't saying that's what you meant. I was just clarifying because oftentimes, because we're like salt and pepper.
Sure.
We have a history of,
TLC.
and me more times than probably you, of not always hearing what we're saying each other correctly.
True.
So that's why I'm pulling that out. That's initially where my mind goes.
That's what happened in the one absolute in sports, but it's okay.
Well,
it's okay.
It's what makes
you
us
weren't prepared
great.
for that one. It's okay.
But in this, I was just trying to lay the groundwork, as I understand that's all what you're saying.
Yeah.
That's where my mind kind of went at first.
See, listen.
But yeah, I'm going to agree with you.
To me, right versus wrong is a perspective thing. Because there's a whole lot of perspective. Now, listen, there are some absolutes with right versus wrong. You shoot somebody, you murder them, that's wrong. That is like a universal absolute.
Well, okay, again.
Joey's a closet murderer.
No. I mean, yes, murder is wrong.
Okay, that's all I said.
But
killing somebody just to kill them is wrong. That's considered murder. To kill, even if you have a reason for it, like they slept with your wife, or they stole money from you, or drugs from you, or whatever, right? You borrowed money, they didn't pay you back, so back in the 20s, people were killed for that.
Yes,
taking a life, that's considered murder.
Yes,
that's what I'm talking. I'm not talking about war, killing somebody in war.
Yeah, no, never mind. Yeah.
Is that, were you going to branch out there?
Well, no. Self-defense, and what I was going to say is, like, words are arbitrary. So, like, let's get through this one, and then you're going to like my last one.
Okay. So self-defense, yes. I don't think that that's considered murder. Okay? Because if you were truly defending yourself, and the other person who was threatening, attacking you, but potentially already physically harming you, if you were to take their life in protection of yourself, I don't believe that's considered murder. I believe that's considered self-defense.
Right. I was just saying is that unfortunately now, like, all words are relative.
I'm sure, yes, and cancel culture all over again.
Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing, so in this vein, the choice in terms of right versus wrong, if you want to have that kind of a lens, the choices are right versus kind. It's better to, when given the choice between being right and being kind, choose kind. Like that's a quote. I don't know who to attribute the quote to, but to me, that is the thing. Because right and wrong is too much of a perspective. Right, there's too much perspective on whether or not I'm right and you're wrong. Like I hate that, because my brother told me I was wrong because I had an opinion one time. Which, listen, my family's not the most supportive when it comes to my ventures, but the
shout out to Average Joe's Media.
The thing is that you're not going to debate kindness with anybody, right? If you're doing something to be kind, even if you do debate it a little bit, that debate is extremely explainable.
Yeah,
right versus wrong is a little too up in the air.
Well, someone once asked me, "What do I gain by being right?"
Exactly,
absolutely nothing.
Right, exactly.
Yep.
Which unfortunately, both you and I treasure being right as much as we treasure proving somebody wrong.
Well, it's a burden and a curse. You know what I mean? It's not just a blessing.
Listen, Joe, for me to always be right and you to always be wrong, that weighs on me heavily.
The humility I show in our friendship of letting you think that you're right sometimes is just, it's my gift. It's my gift to our bond. You know what I mean? Yeah. But yes, I guess the point I was trying to get to, piggybacking yours, I agree with your statement.
Yeah.
But for those that might hear it a certain way and say, well, you know, what if you don't make a choice? I'm just saying I feel very passionate, especially probably this last couple years. How
many times? I apologize for interrupting you, but how many times is abstaining from something in that vein where you're being right or being kind? abstaining is choosing to be kind. Because to try to be right is going to cause an argument or potential divisiveness or division. And so if you abstain, you've actually chosen a direction of kindness.
I guess what I'm trying to say is not choosing to be wrong is not the same as being right.
Right.
Not doing wrong is not the same as doing good.
Wait. Say that again.
Not being wrong is not the same as being right. / another way of saying it is not doing something bad. Is it the same thing as doing something good?
I think the exact definition of doing something good is not doing something bad. You chose the good path.
Yeah, but no. So if
He
not doing
to knows that do good and does not do it, to him it's
Right.
sin, right? So, hey, how do you feel about Jesus? But so my point is, he who knows that this is bad and does not do it, he does not sin. He chose good.
I'm agreeing with that.
Okay, good.
Yeah, say it again the first time.
The first one is
He who
is a
knows
Bible
good
verse.
and does not do good is sin.
If you know to do good and you don't do it,
Yes,
it's sin.
that's what I'm trying to get at. What my statement was built upon that principle.
Well, okay, but I think you said choosing not to do something bad doesn't mean you're being good. And I think that's definitely the definition.
No, because some people don't choose to do anything at all. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
So,
but if they but their options
Okay,
were
you're right. Okay,
I'm going to
okay.
do bad and I'm not going to do anything. You chose good. You chose the better of the two
I
options.
see what you're saying. Yes, no, you're right. By the this is how incredibly diverse the two of us are in our thinking. Because we just counterpointed at the same source material. Because I'm trying to say not doing something the right way when you know it's the right way is the same as doing it bad. So just not doing it is not the same as doing the right thing. So that statement makes sense, but you're right in the standpoint of
at that point, at that crossroads they're at. They make the choice good versus wrong or bad. Good is not to do the bad or whatever, and they chose not to do it. So they chose good.
No, okay. Let me frame it this way, because now we're back now on the same page.
Now we're back to confused.
But so let's say, for example, okay, so say there's somebody who's going through something, okay, and you come across this individual, okay, doing something bad would be to make fun of them, make light of them, make their situation worse.
Sure.
Doing something good would be to offer them assistance.
Okay.
So what if you didn't do anything? You just ignored it. You weren't mean. You didn't hurt them. You didn't do any of those things, right? Mm-hmm. That's not the same as doing something good. Doing nothing isn't the same. Like not hurting someone's feeling is not the same as being kind to them.
Well, it's okay, but it's the good direction in terms of being bad to them. It's the good direction in terms of being bad to them. Being bad and not doing anything, ignoring the situation altogether.
I guess I'm trying to make
ignoring is a way better option, is a much more righteous option.
Scripturally, you have better recall than I do.
Okay.
So, do you remember the
Good Samaritan?
No, well, yes, but I was thinking more of the lukewarm.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like
better to be hot or cold. Because if you're lukewarm, I spew you out of my mouth. Right.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is like there are distinctions between helping and hurting someone.
Sure.
And then a lot of people will pick doing neither, right, and claim it as helping them.
Okay.
You know
so claiming it as helping when you didn't do anything. Okay. That's another choice that you made, and you made the wrong choice.
Not hurting someone is not the same as helping them.
Sure, but not hurting is okay. Not hurting is the better direction to choose if you were thinking, I could hurt this person.
Correct, but have you ever had that experience?
I want you to think about this. Generally speaking, one person does not have such dichotomous thoughts, which I do believe that is a word, where they're
Trey's still listening, so tell us.
So I
He's our fact
He's
checker.
a trooper. I like it.
I tell you what.
One person does not generally have now. Generally, I'm sure there are.
Well, I mean, look at us. We are the
I'm
exception
sure
to
there's
most rules.
examples and exceptions, but one person generally does not have such dichotomous thoughts to harm somebody or to help them, and that's my choice. Generally speaking, they have the choice that's middle of the road or left or right of that middle. The middle of the road is ignore it, don't do anything, because if you don't step on anybody's toes one way or the other, the problem goes away or the issue is non-existent. That's generally speaking. Okay, you see somebody now. I'm sure we're gonna have a ton of these examples, but you see somebody on the side of the road who is asking for money because they're homeless or because they're injured or because they're in hard times. Okay, regardless of the Lexus that's parked down the street. Okay, that a lot of people have that stereotype, right? What are your two choices there for you, Joe? Go. What are your two choices? And I bet you they're the same as mine. Somebody's got a sign, hungry, need money for food.
Your choices are to try to do something to help them.
Yep.
Or to not do anything at all.
Okay. There are
Those are
some
the two
people,
choices that I view.
and I have the same two choices.
Right.
There are some people
have
who
the third option of to mock them or to harass them.
No. Okay. Well,
I know that's what you were saying.
I'm saying the third option is to jump out and hurt them and rob them of their money or keep going forward.
Oh, okay. That's what you're saying.
So you and me, we don't drive down the road and we're like, oh man, we could jump out, take his money, all that stuff that people have been giving him, and we can make easy money, or we can give him money. We don't have those two, one side of the spectrum and the other. We don't have those two thoughts. We have a thought that is a good thought or a thought that is less good, which is the abstain and go down the middle.
Okay. 2 points. One,
somebody who's bipolar maybe have both, but
that's fair. Never mind.
Trey Scott.
I was going to use another name, but anyways, because I'm getting. You'll understand what I meant when I get to my last.
I'm fun.
So just off the cuff, right there, I would say that if someone were to say, I never did anything to hurt this person, doesn't mean that you ever did anything to help them. Okay, and so then what?
But that person, before you finish, that person generally was thinking one type of way or the other. I never did anything to hurt this person, but I could have. Or I never did anything to hurt this person, but I also never helped him. That's I never did anything to hurt's right down the middle.
So I guess where my mind's set on this, and I will own up my own skewed view here. I'm biased on this because of how my mind sees kind of some of this topic. So I'll frame it in a certain way. Let's say you have a responsibility.
Okay. Let's say you have a responsibility, such as any responsibility. Raising a child. Go.
There you go.
Go.
Great one. Not doing anything that you view to hurt that child.
Okay.
It's not the same.
Yep.
As helping your child and meeting those obligations.
I agree with that. But my point is that's your two options because of who you are.
But by not doing...
There's psychotics out there who would be like, I didn't do anything to hurt this child, so therefore I raised them the way they should have been raised. But all the while they had these thoughts of like cruelty towards children.
But like not choosing can sometimes cause more damage in life.
Well, okay, sure.
Right?
It could, sure. Until you're faced with the other two options.
Well, we've talked about this in raising kids, too, right? So, like, avoiding a topic, avoiding a conflict, right? Avoiding a conflict sometimes can do more harm than good.
With your kids?
Yeah.
Explain the conversation we've had.
Well, I don't know any specific. I'm just saying I feel like it's been I'm just saying like I think that we've talked about it in the past.
Okay.
With different dynamics of child rearing.
Sure we have.
Okay.
Look, I don't understand what you're saying, though.
I don't
understand what you're saying about avoiding an issue. When in all reality, when you raise children, generally you don't avoid the issue. Either you
Some parents avoid certain things. They
I
avoid
think-
the conflict of hold their kid accountable to a certain thing or enforcing a rule.
Well, I think generally speaking, parents whenever they avoid, if they're avoiding issues, they're actually just supporting one side of the issue without being potentially like just out there supporting it. You know, they're not like contributing money to the cause, but they're taking a specific side without intervening.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to get at. Then maybe we've reframed it now, but yeah,
Maybe.
but not picking a side is still picking a side.
Okay, yeah. So, but my point is that, see, we've gone far field from this because generally speaking, there is only two options in life. And I mean, most of it is who we are and who we were raised and how we were raised.
Yeah, no,
Our two options are geared that way. Our two options, generally speaking, are to do good or to not do bad. That's mine. That's you, me, most of the people that I know and associate myself with. Okay? But there are people who have the don't do bad or do bad.
right. And I was just trying to cover the other population that don't do anything.
Yeah, but the don't do bad is the don't do anything. Just think of this. Somebody who's raised where there's a huge gang influence, okay? Or maybe they have brothers or generations of their family that have been involved in a gang, okay? And there's behavior that is stereotypical for that, right? Would you agree with that? Okay. Just stereotypes. I'm not saying that anything specific, but in that type of life,
To be clear, we are not commenting on specific stereotypes.
we're not, but in that scenario, generally speaking, there is a measure of action that is stereotypical to a gang, right? They generally choose to help themselves, which means hurting those around them, lessening, taking from, benefiting off of the backs of, fill in the blank. Okay? Their two options are live that way or keep quiet. Don't step out of line. Right? Generally speaking, the stereotype is you don't see a gang have a whole bunch of good stuff they do. Generally speaking, stereotypically. You see their options as advance our organization or pay bills, live my life how I want to, and not being really, really good. I mean, of course, I'm going onto a far right or left part of the spectrum, but they choose to do, stereotypically, they choose to do something bad or they choose not to do anything at all. They don't have the good geared in that organization. They don't have the good side generally geared into them. Again, stereotypes. But I could be wrong about some people in the organization, right? And they're at that point in time, they're in a conflict with themselves and where they need to be. But generally speaking, there's only two options in life. You do or you don't. And again, that's we've been talking about this the whole time. You either do good or you don't do good. You either do bad or you don't do bad.
Not to go super political, but just in frame this one up, I'll put it in the viewpoint of an election.
Okay.
So,
ladies and gentlemen, I'm just kidding.
So, generally speaking, your choices, right? You'd say, okay, people can choose this candidate or that candidate, right? But some people, faced with not liking those two options,
Yeah.
they might not make a choice at all.
Yeah, but
So,
listen,
but what I'm saying is,
so you vote or you don't.
but there's still consequences to not doing anything. Is what I'm trying to say.
Sure, a vote that goes unvoted is a vote for the opposition.
Exactly.
Sure. So they're okay.
So that's all I was getting at.
Okay, but my point was not that there are consequences, which there are. My point is there's only the two options.
Yeah, I'm agreeing with you.
Yeah.
So that's what I was saying. So I'm saying I view there being people in the world that try to get out of the consequences of choosing one or two things by not choosing anything at all.
We can break this thing down into the Subway argument if you want to, because I can get there. Okay, I can get there.
I'm agreeing with you. I was just trying to make that as a supplementary point.
Oh,
a complimenting point.
Oh, you were complimenting. I thought you were.
Yeah,
I thought you were countering.
No, I'm saying I agree with what you're saying. Let me take it a step further.
Oh.
Or drill down a little bit further.
Okay.
And saying that abstaining from making decisions or choices or picking one of those two options in some senses is the same as as picking one of those. There's still consequences, there's still repercussions. Not picking something doesn't.
It's funny how your mind works, Joe, because at no point in time was I talking about consequences here.
No, I understand that, but this is, again, we've explored.
This is the second part of this conversation.
But I think we are doing a great job of illustrating how complex our two ways of thinking are.
Oh, is that where you're going with this?
And I think it's making for great content.
Yeah, well, absolutely. So, but that's my thing is that it changed my mind. There's only two options in your life, wherever you're at. It doesn't matter where you're at. You can be at Subway, and there's only two options. You either do it or you don't do it. You get it or you don't get it. You will or you won't. It does or it doesn't. You go or you stay.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%.
Pick it or you don't pick it. Because look, listen, if you wanna get ticky tack, yeah, there's 7 different bread options at Subway. There's 20 different meats. There's 55 different vegetables. I'm exaggerating a little bit, but on each one you look, yep, nope. It's a yes or a no. It's a do or a don't. On each item.
Even if you don't get bread, you still chose. Your choice was no bread.
Yeah. Your choice was the big tortilla for the wrap or the chopped salad or something like that. Absolutely. Everything in life, there's only two options, life is extremely binary. And now it's you have to break it down to see the binary, because everything, people want you to think that there's more than one option or more than two options. Right, that you truly have choices that aren't super confined. I mean, again, take the Subway. There's 7 breads, so okay, yeah, there's 7 options. No, there's only 2 options for each one. It's a yes or a no for each one.
Yes,
it really is.
No, I actually like that.
And so, life, generally speaking, is binary. And listen, I'm challenging anybody out there. If you've made it this far, it's an hour and 36 minutes. If you've made it this far, I'm challenging you. Change my mind that there are more or less than 2 options in life. Whatever options, whatever fork in the road you're at, there's only 2 splits.
See, this is a good potato moment, because like we were talking last night, and I was saying I feel like you view things much more binary than I do.
Generally, completely.
But by how you just explained it, I can get on board. So you did change my mind today.
Happy day. That's good stuff.
Congratulations. Thank you.
No, I appreciate
you're welcome.
That.
I mean,
absolutely.
Whatever.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is the podcast Things You Think You Don't Care About by Average Joe's Media. We appreciate you if you stayed with us this long. If you didn't, well, you'll get there. It's okay. We have.
Yeah, I mean, why turn us off?
There should be no reason. Just let the stream of podcasts flow.
Come back and pick it up a little bit later.
That's right.
I mean, you can find us on Spotify. Apple Podcasts, Google Play. You can find us on all the Facebooks and Twitters and Instagrams, Facebook,
Stitchers,
YouTube.
Tunes In, iHeartRadio. You can find us on pretty much anything. All you gotta do is search Average Joe's JOS Media or Things You Think You Don't Care About. And you know what? Last time I Google searched this, we were like, if you just put our author name, remember no E in Joe's JOS. If you just search the author name, we come up with like 7 of the first 10 links.
I tell you what, you can go to averagejoesmedia.com.
That's right. Yeah, just go there. Just go straight to the source.
I mean, catch us at the studio, possibly in Broken Bow in a couple in unforeseeable future.
Yeah,
we're all over the place.
Absolutely, we are. I mean, there's no place we'd rather be.
Ever.
Oh man! Until next time. I'm the Average Joe Boo.
I'm the Average Joe.
Telling you to keep it clean.
Ready, make a podcast, so turn it up, cause you know we about to mix it up with music, sports, games, and more on the podcast. Things you think you don't care about ain't nothing but a Joe thing, baby. 2 guys with mics getting crazy. We picking up material daily, so don't miss an episode.